Hello, today for review I've got a pretty interesting model. Unfortunately, I didn't have a chance to get acquainted with previous models of NF Audio, but based on reviews it's a really worthy company that creates good, well-tuned in-ear monitors. But of course it's better late than never, and now I've got a chance to test their upgraded version of their NM2 that they've named NM2 Plus. They stated that it's a professional series, and they also stated that this model can be used as a stage monitor, meaning that it has natural tuning. And what makes it even more interesting, it's a single dynamic driver model, because nowadays most commonly we can match something multi-driver, something hybrid or even tri-breed, and utilize just a single dynamic driver and create good sound. It's an interesting challenge, but of course if company succeeds, results would be nice, because single dynamic driver always means coherent sound, and let's face the truth, if you're going to use a single driver, use the dynamic driver would be the best choice, because single balanced armatures always lacking weight or extension on one of the ends of frequency range or on both. And dynamic driver can balance everything and deliver nice sound. So is it so for the NF Audio? We'll see in this review. And the price is $170 plus minus. I will add links to the shop on the AliExpress where I get this model to the description, but now let's have a closer look. So in terms of package, they also did a good job, because the package is nice, and sorry, I will adjust camera a little bit. It's nice and it looks stylish, so nice gray color with embossing, basic technical specifications, so what's inside of the box and so on. Model name, weight, cable 2-pin 5N silver-plated oxygen-free copper, wide frequency range, 3.5mm connector, sensitivity 108 decibels per milliwatt, 18 ohms of impedance, so pretty good figures. Low distortion, that's good for stage monitors, so spec-wise it's a really promising model. When I first get this box, I've spent some time trying to figure out how it should be opened, and it appears that we need to pull it from this side and remove the outer sleeve to get access to internals. And here it is. You can see that they spent some time designing the interiors of this box. You can see that here is short manual, storage case, nice CD-like holder for the earphones themselves, tips organizer and stock cable. Of course, package is not that important in general, but when companies thought about the user experience, making such small things, even if they cost a few additional dollars, it definitely improves the experience of the buyer. So what do we have? Something in case. So basically it's just a 6.3mm connector. Nice fabric-like case, looks pretty attractive, small and good for storage. What else? 3 pair of tips, 2 type of tips, so balance tips and base. Of course the difference is in the diameter of the spout. Smaller diameter means a bit more low frequencies. Let's get the bassy one. Everyone likes bass. A piece of Velcro and so on. So in terms of design, they are nice. Look stylish, CNC machined aluminum, attractive look, good ergonomic design, nice length of spout, so sound isolation is about average, 25 decibels of passive sound isolation, it's okay. 2 vents here and there, and overall build quality is nice, wearing comfort is also good. It spout has a lip to hold the tips, it has protective grill, so all that small parts that I pay attention are present. Inside, their design is also pretty sophisticated, some really good dynamic driver with Tesla grade magnet system, dual internal cavities to provide the best sound and the fatigue-free movement of diaphragm. And so when you have just a single dynamic driver, the only way of sound tuning, of course, is acoustic treatment, and that requires more work than some tuning using, for example, crossover. And here they are. So nice design. And stock cable is normal, so it has ear hooks to hold the cable around your ears. No memory wire inside, and cable itself is average in terms of softness, not too tough, not too soft, so somewhere in between. Almost not getting hard when it's cold outside, looks attractive, and splitter is a bit too big to place company's logo, but anyway, I don't think it would be a big issue. So, and it goes down to the jack. So all these exterior outer parts are done nicely and looks pretty attractive, so I think they worth this price, so they did everything that we can expect for this price tire. And of course about the sound, so NF Audio delivers the promised tuning, they are really natural with focus on the micro detalization, with unexpectedly good amount of micro detalization for the dynamic driver. So basically it's a model focused on the micro detalization, on the resolution, and pretty natural in terms of sound signature. And in this aspect they definitely stands out from the vast majority of models in this pretty crowded price segment. I gave them about 60 hours of burn-in. I did try different tips, but I prefer a bit more the tips that called bass, because they adding a bit of spice to the overall natural sound. So you know, natural audiophilic tuning is good, but for regular listening, of course, a hint of fun would be a nice addition. So let's have some player on the table, and this model is really good, I will use one of the best players I own, probably just the best. So I haven't seen their frequency response, but I'm pretty sure that it's more or less linear. They have a slight accent on the mid bass, but definitely this accent is small because lows here are not dominating even with bassy tips. And main accent is made on mid bass, but depth is really good. It goes to maximum depth, and it controls well. And the bass here delivered in a tight and a punchy way. So it's definitely not the model for those who need weighty representation, who need accented lows, who need weight, and so on. But for me it's really good bass tuning. Maybe I'd like a bit less focus on the micro detalization here and a bit more large representation, but it's more a matter of preferences, because it's sounding really not forgiving for the quality of records in the all sound spectrum, but that's probably what you can expect from the natural and monitoring earphones. Even bass should be recorded really nicely. If we speak about the real acoustic instruments, they require good record quality, but at the same time, if it's a good record, they will deliver tiniest nuances, tiniest details, really rich and luxury sense of presence and all that small overtones. With electronic music it's a bit easier because usually they use synthesized low frequencies, and this model can deliver nice and pretty engaging amount of punch and kick and all the other stuff. And actually, as an example, I use Glitch Mob, and actually forgot about this group in my media library for some time. And Skullclub, nice electronic music with tight and impactful low frequencies, and this model definitely delivers it. And it has slow intro, and then when bass line starts, it's just sounding really lifelike, or actually I don't know, can it be called lifelike? So you will get the sense of presence on some big EDM event. And of course the bass is controlled perfectly and absolutely smoothly transitioned to mids that also made in the resolving and micro contrast focused way. And they have a really noticeable focus on the detailization, so they are pretty picky for the quality of record. They will show all the issues, but at the same time on the good records, of course, they will deliver tons of details, tons of realism. You know, sometimes they are a bit overwhelming with amount of details, especially for example with good live tracks. You can even spot something new in such records. But besides that, of course, it's a great model to listen to all that audiophilic compilations like audiophile jazz vocal, I don't know, all that Chesky, Blue Note and other labels releases sounding absolutely astonishing with them, and something like Hoff Ensemble that I really like for their quality of record, Jazz at the Pawn Shop, and many other such records. And at the same time, of course, they're not adding emotions, they're not trying to add some coloration, they're not adding weight, so all that stuff should be present in record. So if you use some colored representation, something emotional or something like that, of course that it won't be a model for you. But if you're looking for something natural, but at the same time not absolutely analytical, you know, they manage to deliver tons of details, but at the same time, thanks to using dynamic driver here, they're not sounding too clinical, and that's a pretty pleasant experience. So they will deliver really natural sound, and imaginary stage is noticeably above average, pretty big, especially for this price tier, one of the biggest in the, I don't know, is it still the lowest segment or it's begin of mid segment, not sure about modern price tiers, but in the above below $200 range, it's a really good stage. And treble is present, of course, it's accented a little bit, not too much to my taste, but for, oh sorry, of course I need an example for the mid frequencies, and it's Miles Davis, Freddie Freeloader from the Kind of Blue. It's all about the trumpet, of course, and of course it's recorded good. It's some of the modern remasters, and of course this record gives you tons of overtones and small nuances of trumpet, and definitely sounding super realistic. Probably for me it's the earphones to listen such music and such records in general. And treble is accented. For me it's a normal amount of treble, but for sensitive persons, of course, they could be too bright, especially combined with natural and resolving mids. So, you know, sometimes such sound can be a bit fatiguing if you if you are not used to such amount of details. But for me it's still okay. I like such sound time to time. And treble has above average extension, not super extended, but above average. And thanks for using the dynamic drivers, it's actually not the balanced armature type of treble that is fast and lightweight. It has a bit slower than balanced armature that acts and decays, and actually it gives a bit better layering sometimes, and I'll add here a nice resolution, and you will get a good sense of realism in the treble area, both in terms of basic tones representation and in terms of overtones representation, and all that small nuances and decays are also present. But once again, I will stress that you need to keep in mind that it's definitely not the model for the treble phobic or treble sensitive people. And as an example, I will use another jazz track that I really like. It's Echoes of Ellington Jazz Orchestra, and actually it's a cover version of Gustav Holst Planets, but done in a big band jazz style, sounding really great with tons of respect both to Ellington and Holst. You know, it's the work that will satisfy both lovers of classical music and lovers of the jazz music. And of course it requires good treble, because a big jazz orchestra has a lot of things that goes to the treble area and resonating there, and these earphones give you all that smallest nuances. In terms of pairing, they are pretty critical. To unveil their full potential, you will need something with good resolution, and at the same time probably pairing them with something absolutely natural like FIO M11, for example, or I don't know, iBus or DX220 with stock amp is not the best choice. They probably, at least you know, it's subjective of course to my taste, they pairs better with something warmer, and especially like Kane's N3 Pro in tube mode, sounding pleasant. So with I don't know, with Shenling, with FIO M15, so with a bit weighty and even warmer depths to compensate their representation and give a bit more romantic sound. But also it's a matter of what you want to get. If you like natural and forward sound, so M11 will drive them pretty well. But at the same time, Source should be resolving to unveil their full technical potential. So, to summarize once again about the sound: natural representation with tight bass and good balance of weight thanks to the dynamic driver, but still focused on the micro detalization and giving high amount of details, so keep that in mind. Speaking about the compressions, actually not much models in this price range with such tuning. I can recall only Moondrop KXXS that I reviewed, but Moondrop sounding a bit brighter and a bit less realistic, and also a bit less impactful on bass. But at the same time they are brighter. For those who like rich accented treble, Moondrop could be a better offer. This one is more monitoring. Not much sense in comparing them with some hybrids, I don't know, any hybrids like FIO FH3, more V-shaped, more fun sounding, BQ EYZ Spring 2, more accented on the emotions, more highlighting track with emotions, and so on. So definitely, you know, models with pretty unique sound tuning. So I'm really glad that I got a chance to get familiar with NF audio and NM2. It's not the model for everyone, but it's definitely a model worth attention, and I really like that there are companies who can do such experiments. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and have a nice day.